This sode would not be possible without the support of our listeners, patrons, and sponsors. If you'd like to learn more about supporting the 3-Bit Gamer Show, check us out on Patreon at patreon.com/3BG. And a huge thanks goes out to our boss-level patrons, Christopher and Patrick.
Have you ever really fallen in love with a game? I don't mean like love. I mean love. You know, that kind of game. Well, if you're like me...
Wait. JD, did you just boot Valheim?
What? No.
Dude, I just saw the notification. JD has arrived.
Wait, how did you see that notification? Are you in game 2?
Maybe?
Alright. Let's go mine some copper. We need a ton.
Alright, I'll grab my pickaxe.
Guys, are we still recording?
You've just logged into the 3-Bit Gamer Show. Welcome to the 3-Bit Gamer Show. I'm JD.
This is Peterson.
And this is Trent.
It is going to work. I'm sure it's going to work, Trent. It's going to work. We'll see if it works.
Live from the 3-Bit Gamer Show. The news.
All right, our news this week is brought to us by Crave Cookies.
Crave
Cookies is this awesome cookie soda shop here in Midvale, Utah. They have a drive-thru, DoorDash, Uber Eats. But most importantly, you guys, they have the s'more cookie. Trent made a s'more cookie.
It looks fantastic too, but
it's so good.
JD, I wanted to rant or rave a little bit more about the I think it's the next upcoming cookie. What did you call it, Trent? The monster with the butterscotch.
Oh, they're both out right now. I released
They're
them
out?
both.
The Scotcheroo is out, dude.
Okay, it has a Rice Krispie treat inside of it.
In the middle.
Yes, dude. It's a Scotcheroo, but it's a cookie. If you've had a Scotcheroo, it's so good.
Trent's boxes for Crave Cookies are these sleek black boxes, and it says Crave Cookies, cookies without limits. And sometimes I think Trent just sits there and it's like late at night and there's just one light on and it's like a bare light bulb just like swinging as the shadows dance up and down the wall, and he just scratches his head. He goes, Trent, there should be no limits. No limits.
Open your mind, Trent.
And then he does something
Rice Krispie
like
treats.
put a Rice Krispie in a cookie.
Dude, I feel like that on Sundays. I'm always over there doing the new ones on Sundays, and I have the lights on, and I'll see someone pull down the driveway, and I'm like, no, they're interrupting my process. And I turn the lights off, and I feel like a vampire, like slamming the curtains shut so no one can watch me.
Oh my gosh.
This is my time.
I need the Phantom of the Opera version of Trent working at Crave Cookies. I need it more than anything I've ever needed in my whole life.
Bake for me.
This dough! Won't this dough let me be free? Oh my god. So guys, go to Crave Cookies.
That was a long Crave
On
Cookie
Sunday
intro,
nights,
but-
you might see a phantom running around the back of the store. He might like pull his like apron over his face and run away in fear.
Dude, I've heard. Wait.
Don't look at me.
I've heard there's a legend. Okay, it's an urban legend. But if you stop by Crave Cookies at about 10 p.m. on a Sunday evening, you might get a glimpse of the ghost of Crave Cookies.
The ghost of Crave Cookies. Oh my god. Yeah, we are absolutely building Crave Cookies lore here on the 3-Bit Gamer Show, folks. There will be lore. You will know the stories. All right, let's get into some news. Okay, so this first story comes to us out of Germany. Long story short, kids in Germany will no longer be able to buy video games with loot boxes in them. they will be filed away with more violent games, probably. And
Are
all
they?
the other...
Is it like a rating system thing? Do they have to be rated adults only or something?
Yeah, basically. I think it's like in Germany, I think it's like 12, 14, 18 or something like that. And so these will be like 18 plus whatever that is.
Okay.
0, 6, 12, 16, 18. And you can't buy a game rated 18 if you are not 18, and you will get a ID check. So you got to have your mom go buy you FIFA 21 because
Dude, that's crazy.
That's the thing. That's the approach with this is they're it sounds like they're reforming the Youth Protection Act, which is a 20-year-old law, and they're reforming it to cover video games as well. And that's kind of the idea. I think it was a law made to decentivize gambling and gambling-based incentives, and so now they are just updating it, but it is specifically designed to cover games that are otherwise harmless, like FIFA, or games that you would be like, oh, well, why couldn't a kid play this basketball game? Well, because it's trying to steal his fucking money.
And just give him garbage that he already has.
God, that is so wild. So I don't know. Everyone's pretty like, oh, well, they'll just go, they'll just make it a DLC to get around. They'll sell the game as a normal FIFA game and then sell the DLC. I still think it'll cause at least some
I still
headache.
feel like that's more ethical than a loot box, though, in the long run.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying is they'll sell
a
DLC that'll include loot box functionality, but because you've already bought the base game as a 14-year-old,
gotcha,
it won't apply.
Okay.
But I think overall, I think this is going to be, I don't know, we've been saying these is going to be a bellwether, things in Belgium, things in Germany, about what's going on with loot boxes. And to be honest, I think that trend, does it seem to you guys like that phase is over? Of just like cramming loot boxes into every single game.
Yeah.
I just don't run into them that much. Maybe I'm not playing those kind of games.
I feel like there's a right way to do it, right? There's a good way to do loot boxes, and that is you only get loot boxes for free. You can't buy a loot box if you wanted to, right? You can buy the skins, you can buy the whatever content, but loot boxes are earned in-game for free. You just get them when you level up. I think if you want to have a loot box system in the game, that's the only way to do it. No way to pay for it. You just earn them, and it's a fun, what are you going to get type of thing,
Because everyone likes opening boxes. We've been doing it since
like I'm playing Conqueror's
forever.
Blade right now, and you could buy currency, but I get so many of their like loot box stuff. Like I am constantly inundated with loot.
That's
to the
best.
point where like you've got like a storage like cache. I don't even have enough storage anymore. I just have like a bunch of loot boxes stored that I'll open up later. So that's how many I have, and that's how they should do it.
That's how, But okay, so next up, this is just a pat on the back that goes out to our current addiction, Valheim.
Oh man,
this little indie game. It is like Viking Minecraft. It has now passed the 5 million sale mark.
That is wild.
It's selling at $20 a pop. Reminder, this is an early access. This is an early access title, which means it's not in full release, which means you buy it knowing full well that it's not completed, that you're playing an early build of the game, but you're doing so to support the developer and keep it going. I think they were probably looking for something on the order of 50,000. It's a 5-man team. And if they got 50,000 sales at $20,000 a pop, wouldn't that be $1 million? That would have been enough to keep this thing going for a year or two. And they were like, that would have been ambitious. So they were aiming for 50. They got 5 million. I think their roadmap probably changed a little bit.
Dude, it's been a month. 1 month.
Good
1
for
month.
them. That's so cool.
And they've got 5 million copies.
This is like Fortnite, right? When it gets to a big enough like inflection point of enough sales, it just keeps growing on itself because it's just people pulling other people into it to play with them. The fact that you can have 10 people, I mean, I went out of my way to set up a server so we could play with people that listen to the podcast and some other friends, and it's just like I would have never done that for any other game. It's just so wild how much this game is.
And there's always someone in there.
Yes,
there's always someone in the server.
I jump in.
If I went in right
anytime.
now, I guarantee there's someone there.
Yeah, like I jump on at 8:30 in the morning to just throw some mead in the pot. No biggie. The mead takes a minute. There's already someone up, like exploring the map, just hanging out in the world.
Wild.
Oh my gosh, it's so cool. So congratulations. We'll probably be talking about the 6 million sale mark next week because it's a new million every week. And I can't even fathom how a 5-man team is coping with this. It would freak me out. I wouldn't sleep at night. My hair would fall out. I would feel like, yay, it's cool. We're rich. But I would be like, I'm not going to sleep for a year. My life will be hell for a year because of this.
Because if your stuff shuts down,
yes,
right? If you have like a game breaking bug, people
that's
all of a sudden millions of people are going to be so mad.
It's like,
nerds.
Can we please not be crushed underneath our success now? Because that's
Yep.
Because you imagine they're like all these things they wanted to do. Well, now you have to hire a bunch of people. Now you guys are managers, and now you have to have an HR department, and you have to hire a Peterson. It's just a whole
hire a Peterson.
It's just a whole mess.
You're welcome. I'm coming. We're here to stay.
So this is good news. The rare morsel of good news out of Blizzard, you guys.
Yeah.
So savor it. I'm just gonna just drop it in your mouth and just let it melt slowly. Don't chew it. Here comes a morsel of news from JD.
Please don't put things in my mouth.
Oh, open up.
Open.
Why are you putting it in my
wide.
mouth? Why don't you put it in my ears? I don't like this metaphor.
Here comes your food morsel to melt in your ear. Diablo 2 Resurrected is going to let you import your original Diablo 2 save files. This is the Diablo 2 remaster, remake, reskin, what have you. And everyone was a little worried after Blizzard face planted so hard on Warcraft 3 Reforged that they made the game.
Probably be a little worried because we're still a ways out.
But yeah, thank you, Trent, for tempering my excitement. This is one tiny thing just melting slowly in your ear. No, wait, that's blood.
Wait.
Hey, but I think this is the coolest thing, though, dude.
Yeah, this is pretty cool.
Imagine having your favorite game from when you were in your younger teens all of a sudden be available again, and you can play your same character.
And
like,
you're gonna open it up and be like, "Oh yeah, that guy,
dude!" I remember
that.
I remember my next door neighbor played Diablo 2 all the time, and I had no idea what the game was or what it was like, but I know he sat there and played it for hours and hours. I guarantee you he has at least one character that he remembers, and if he has that old computer, this is the article that was so cool. This was apparently a discussion with IGN Middle East. Who was this guy? The Setterquist dude. Matthew Setterquist, who's a game producer for Diablo 2. These are some quotes. Yes, keep your old save files. When he was asked about the thing, back when we were working on the remaster, we wondered if old save files would work. So we kind of shoved it in, and it worked. So yes, your local single-player save files will carry over. Cedarquist added that once players import their old save files, they can continue from where they left off and will now be able to play with updated visuals and sound effects. When it worked, we were like, okay, that's the best feature ever. I love that this thing was just like a happy accident. They're like, oh, I wonder if you could just oh my God, you could just use your old save. Guys, you could just come look at this. Can you imagine the buzz in the office that day when they're like, dude, look what Cedarquist just figured out. This is the craziest shit. Anyone got their old hard drive?
No. This guy was surprised by it. So, there was a team of 3 guys who was like, yeah, we've been working on this for months. And he's like, guys, this is crazy.
What do you mean it just worked?
It
doesn't
I
just
figured
work.
this out right now. And these guys are like, I've literally been doing this forever.
Guys, everybody come see what Matthew Cedarquist did. Get over here. Hey, nerds, shut up and get over here and see what Cedarquist did. I'm Matthew Cedarquist. I did this. Way to go, Cedarquist, dude. Way to go.
You did
it. Here's another. Dude, this is all good news. This is all good news this week. I like this. Apex Legends hits an all-new concurrent user peak on Steam.
That's crazy.
You know what's really crazy? I didn't realize. Did you know this game was an EA Origin exclusive until November 2020? Like a couple months ago?
I didn't know that.
I didn't know. I played it. I didn't know it. That's why I was like, that's why I had EA on my computer a minute ago. It was an 18-month EA Origin exclusive. So of course, once it hits Steam and it loses that exclusivity, they got a shot in the arm, and they hit 198,235 simultaneous players on Steam, which is its highest concurrent user peak. It is the 5th most played game on Steam right now. Apex Legends,
It's wacky,
from 2018.
That's crazy. It's
huge.
Impressive.
Who's playing
that
this
they've
game?
been
I don't
kept
know
it
anyone who's
alive
still
this
playing
long.
it.
I know a few people that are playing it, but I didn't realize it was that big still.
I'm so happy for him because, Peterson, you brought this game up a couple of weeks ago, and I thought that was a really keen observation that this game was one of those that just came out of nowhere. They dropped it out of the sky and were like, hey, here's a brand new free-to-play battle royale. It doesn't have all the dumb building of Fortnite, and it's got a lot of cool weapons, and there's a zip line. Here you go. And everyone's like, wait, what?
Wait, when is it out?
And it's out now.
It's right now.
It
Go
is
download
currently
it.
downloading onto your
Go
machine.
download it.
And this is, and they're being rewarded for it. Like I don't know.
It
so
is a
cool.
good game. Like it is a
It's
good
awesome.
game. They haven't jumped the shark yet. My son Graham picked it up because it was free on the PlayStation, and so he picked it up and was playing it for a bit. And it just seemed like the same game. It still seemed like it played well. The new characters and new abilities were really cool. So I just feel like I don't know, they're doing something right where they've sucked in. What do you say? Like 200,000 concurrent players or something? That's wild.
That's a ton. That's a ton for a
in the
game
market
like this.
right now. That is so wild.
And that's concurrent players. That is actively playing. Like when we say there's 5 million people that bought Valheim, cool. 1 million of those have not even booted it yet. Like, let's be realistic.
That's just on Steam still. I'm sure there's still plenty of people playing it on Origin.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Absolutely. So, way to go, Apex. That's awesome. And then this is an update to the story we talked about last week, that the Sinking City publisher has responded to the allegations that it pirated the game, that Nakon's original Sinking City game, and looks like Steam has gone ahead and pulled it off.
This drama is so bizarre. Like, I didn't even think this was a thing that could happen. So let's see. Nakin was saying that Frogware said that Nakin pirated their game. And then just the fact that that's a thing, that the developer is accusing the publisher of stealing their game, like actually stealing the files.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah.
How is this happening? This seems like 1988 types of stuff, when it was the Wild West in computer programming, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is crazy to me.
This
whole story.
That they thought they'd get away with it. That they could they're like, hey, we could just copy the game files over from some guy that left them here, and we'll just throw them up on Steam and make a couple bucks, and no one will be the wiser. What?
Oh my gosh.
No updates. Like, we won't be able to update the game. That game will be pretty janky, that build, because we can't guarantee it. So at least Steam has delisted the game. Seems like there's probably going to be...
This is the second time it's been pulled off Steam. I feel like if it comes back, I need to just buy it.
Probably.
Just
in
to
whatever
have it.
form.
It's a collector's
just
item.
Yeah,
it's a collector's item.
Edition.
Yeah, an NFT for this. Okay, so this is... Guys, I gotta say, the Hogwarts Legacy drama, I'm glad we're getting it out of our system now. Right? Because we got a whole year.
Let's get it out.
Let's get it all out now. Let's clean this garbage up, because I've told you I'm making all my hopes and dreams in the whole world on this game being the greatest thing that ever happened to me.
Oh no.
Dude, Peterson, can you imagine if I was as addicted to a Harry Potter style game as I am to Valheim right now, that's what I want out of this. I'm not
That's
asking
what you want.
a ton.
That's not going to happen.
I just want Harry Potter Minecraft.
We only get addicted to games that we never even knew about. Games we never thought we'd be addicted to. That's the ones we get.
Those are the ones
games that we're
grip you.
anticipating. Month. You got a month of playtime at most.
Outer Worlds, played that for about 8 hours. Ugh, so addicted. Okay, so the first thing that came out about this was that the Hogwarts Legacy character select. This was leaked, I guess. I think it was leaked to Bloomberg at some point or Kotaku that
I think
their
it was a Jason
character
Schreier thing again, wasn't it?
Okay, yeah, that the character select would be inclusive for trans characters. That this is to say that you could be a witch with a traditionally male voice and a male body. It's just like it doesn't put any limitations on any of these things: your voice, your appearance, your chosen designation between witch and wizard.
Yep.
So none of this is like limited, so it's very inclusive for anyone to play. I mean, yes, that's great. I think we should be doing this for all games. I don't know why. If Trent pointed this out earlier, like if the functionality's in there, why are you limiting it in the first place?
Just unlock it. Just
unlock it.
It's not hurting anybody.
And second question: this is a single player game, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's not affecting your game experience if you don't want it to anyway. Like,
no.
Just such a silly thing.
Yeah.
I think I had that was the same thoughts I had. I was like, do we have to give this kudos? It just seems like they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're just like, this is so weird.
Thanks for stopping at a red light.
Yeah.
But
bravo.
Yeah, fucking good job.
It says there's this line in here that I read 40 times and I just kept scratching my head and I kept thinking, what's the justification here? They said there was resistance from management at first, but the people familiar with the project said that they ultimately included it into the game. Why? That's what I don't understand.
Dude,
why? What's the resistance?
I will tell you. Apparently, we found some of the source of the resistance. I don't know. Again, speculation. This is something that was unrelated. I want to be very clear. This was unrelated. But
it's adjacent.
This is adjacent.
But the two
it's
things
happening at the
did
same
not
time.
happen. Yes.
I saw reporting that said the leaked information about the inclusive character select was in response to this thing. It was not. That timeline does not match up, you dinguses. That's weird.
Yeah.
That was like written in an actual website. But Avalanche Softworks, I think. Avalanche something soft. This is the studio here in Salt Lake.
We know there's an Avalanche. We know there's something about soft and
Avalanche Softskin. These guys that are making Hogwarts Legacy here in Salt Lake, they had a lead developer who had a YouTube channel full of just garbage content. Before you ask, yes, I did subject myself to the videos.
I did go look a little bit too.
I did dislike them.
And I went and looked too, and I'd say like 85% of them were just nothing. And then there was, I don't know, a handful of videos where they were obviously, it seemed like either just aggressively hateful towards something or like they were trying to just to get clicks over to the page.
Yeah.
I was like, this is wild.
Dude, it's just like rage clickbait. It was like that type of ragey clickbait, which thrives on YouTube because the YouTube algorithm rewards that type of content.
Mm-hmm.
It's like whatever. This guy had a YouTube channel. The thing was notable is like everyone knew about this. This wasn't some secret. Like, oh, you totally got owned. We found your secret YouTube channel. It's like he's links to it in his Twitter.
Before he took the job, he told them.
Yeah, he told them about it.
He disclosed it to them.
Hey, I have a
and he
shitty
was like,
YouTube
hey,
channel
okay
where I
with
say
that?
shitty things about women, and they're like, dog, we are in video games. Do you think we fucking care about that?
Have you not heard of Riot? Come on.
Oh, you too? You have one of those YouTubes? Yeah, that's why we contacted
Send me a link, bro. I'll send you mine.
Yeah, we'll do a sub swap for sure, bro. Sub swap. So anyway, this is like whatever. This gets surfaced and people are mad, and so he, of course, seizes an opportunity to jump on the grift because that's what you do. If people find out that you've been saying shitty things online, you turn around and say, you're canceling me. And then 100,000 people are like, you're canceling him. I am now his biggest fucking fan. That is my most upsetting thing is you go on articles, you go and read about this, and everybody's like, well, he got one more subscriber from me. I'm like, dude, you didn't even know this guy existed, and you're only a fan of him because people don't like him? What?
Dude, my favorite, this article has the best one-liner at the end, though. If he was being assigned to a Hogwarts house, it would be Gryffindor.
Yeah. So,
dude, I wish I would have thought of that line. That is completely worth it.
Dude, and this guy follows like the prototype of how you're supposed to do the grift, because the first thing he does is he quits. And then he's like, I got a YouTube video coming out about this. Stay tuned. Like, are you
Stay tuned,
serious?
everybody.
You're clearly
like
doing this to create content.
But I promise this is entirely selfless. I'm doing it to save the game.
Yeah, and so he paints that, and then he's just like, but the best part is people jumped to conclusions before he explained that he wasn't fired. It was just, he might as well have just come out and just said, guys, I'm just quitting because it will make me much more famous and my YouTube channel will take off, and it's way easier to make YouTube videos than it is to make video games. Anyway, that's all I want to dedicate to this.
Well, I will
grift.
say one thing. I would say the other piece of drama that we haven't included into this is the whole J.K. Rowling.
Oh, God.
So I think that's why this is notable. The first part of this, where we're talking about inclusivity for trans characters, that's why this is notable. Because the whole thing was like, oh, gosh, here we go. What's going to happen, right? I don't think anything's going to happen. I think it's just the game's going to come out and it's going to include, you can make whatever character you want to make. You can put them in whatever dorms you want to put them in. But I think everyone's kind of waiting with bated breath for JK to come out and say something crazy.
See what garbage she says. Every time she opens her fucking mouth, a bunch of shit spills out. I just can't believe this. But here's the thing is that I'm glad you brought that up, Peterson, because I do feel like, and Danny's talked about this before, because she has a lot of friends that work over in that studio. Mm-hmm. Danny was actually supposed to come on the pod tonight, but because it was International Women's Day, we told her to stay. She couldn't.
She flipped us off.
She said no.
She said, I'm out of here. And we were like,
all right.
Okay.
That fits. I wouldn't want to be on this podcast. I wouldn't want to spend my International Women's Day on a podcast with these three assholes either. No, Danny is crunching on her game right now, but she has worked with a bunch of people. She has gone to school with these people, and I get the impression that it's a fairly inclusive and like welcoming studio. And I do think that they did this in the leaked story, allegedly they did this in part because it was a response to J.K. Rowling's comments on trans people. Yeah. And so bravo. Like, I think that's dope. We'll see what happens. I don't know. Maybe there's a couple more YouTubers on the team that will be, I don't know.
That'll take the wheel, I guess.
Take
I don't know.
The wheel. Take the hate wheel, boys. Okay, we got a couple more. We'll get through these quick. First off, Nintendo has reportedly unveiled reportedly unveil a 4K OLED Switch this year. Trent, what does the O in OLED mean? What is that?
I don't know.
Is it like, LED?
I think that's it for sure. Yes. Ooh.
That's definitely what it is. Oh, man.
Dude, that's going to be the next Xbox name. Oh, Xbox.
Ooh, Xbox.
I hate it.
Oh man, someone's gonna message us and tell us what this means.
I'm gonna look it up right now because now it's gonna drive me nuts.
Oxidized.
So then, what's an AMOLED?
So the OLED is supposed to reduce battery consumption and offer higher contrast and 720p resolution. So this is the Switch, the little thing you slide out. So this is the screen.
This is
on
the actual
Switch itself.
like
is going to be an improved screen.
Interesting.
Well, because it's just 720p right now, so like it's not even full 1080 on the actual Switch screen right now, right?
I
don't
no,
think.
it's 720. But I don't know. Is there a market? Is there a crossover in people that are like big hardware whores
I think
and people that
I
like
think
the
so.
Switch?
I do think so, because they're starting to release like a lot of third-party games, like The Witcher is on Switch, right?
That's a good
they're
point.
And
releasing a
certain
lot of
games
these
look pretty
third-party
awful
games.
on the
Yeah.
actual handheld. Like you can only play them on a TV.
Yeah, so I think that this is a big deal. I'm interested to see what it will do for the price. If it'll make the price go up by $50 to $100. I don't know. We'll see. But
It's got to get
I-
better, right? Like it's
Yeah.
been on the market for what, 3-4 years now.
Mm-hmm.
They have to have some sort of midlife
This is what they
improvement.
always do. They always make improvements to their current devices, especially their handhelds. Right? How many versions of the DS are there?
Oh yeah.
The trick
Right?
is,
they went through so many.
in my opinion, they are going to need to make it good enough and sexy enough that people that already have a Switch, maybe like first adopters of the Switch, who are already happy with theirs and maybe don't have drift, will consider getting this. They're like,
Well, yeah.
well,
I mean,
shit,
my kids have
my
dropped
Switch is
mine
3
a few
years.
times.
Yeah.
There's cracks on it.
That, but
Well,
if it's
maybe I'll grab
not,
another
if it's
one.
not enough of an upgrade, those people might think twice. So I think they got to make
Yeah.
it pretty snazzy. Okay, this last one, you guys. This one's crazy.
Yeah. this is
And
wild.
only because I'm personally invested in this am I okay with it. Otherwise, I mean, you guys know how I stand, where I stand on mega corporations. But there's always one mega corp that you're rooting for before you insert their chip into your neck and officially declare your allegiance to that mega corp for the rest of your existence and your family's.
Because that's what we do,
existence.
right? We pick a thing and just stick
That's
with it no
it.
matter what.
ZeniMax has the ZeniMax Microsoft merger is officially a go
That's
in the
crazy.
EU. ZeniMax is the owner, the company that owns Bethesda. They own Arcane Studios. They own the dudes that make Wolfenstein and Dragon Age. Just all of those games. ZeniMax is a pretty big company, and Microsoft just swallowing them up means just one amazing thing for JD, and it's that the Games Pass is going to get so much better.
Games, here we go, baby.
Oh my god! And guess what? Look, dude, ZeniMax is not a small company. It's not like they're nickel and diming their studios, but they don't have a $1.5 trillion market cap like Microsoft, who can just sponsor these games and throw money at projects that might not be big winners because they would be big winners on the Game Pass.
Dude, it was a $7.5 billion acquisition.
Which I think
that-
Microsoft makes that in like 2 weeks. So
Yeah,
they're
Microsoft is like, oh,
meh.
just a B? That's fine.
like, just a couple B's.
Just a B.
As long as we're talking in B's and not T's, and don't even mention M's. We don't talk about M's here.
M's.
M's. The last time I talked about M's was like 15 B's ago. All right, guys, let's do some kudos.
Kudos.
All right, kudos is our positivity segment. We like to give a shout out to something awesome. I have a couple, so I'll just go first on one of mine. I have one that I have just been absolutely. This is a show that I started watching with Jenna. It's on Hulu, and I wasn't totally sold on it until we just finished the first season tonight. It's called The Guest Book. It's by Greg Garcia, the guy that did My Name is Earl. I think he's done a bunch of other stuff, but that's the most recognizable that I know. He's also done, I think he also worked on The Simpsons and probably all the other classics. Let's see. Family Guy. Yes, Dear. I guess he hasn't worked on that many. It was just fine. You'll probably know him best from My Name is Earl. Anyway, it's called The Guest Book. It is the series revolves around a cabin off in the woods. It's like a rental, and there's like a rotating cast. Like Jenna Fisher, Pam in The Office is in an episode. And so she just has like, it's just like these individual episodes that revolve around this cabin, and the people that are renting it and the people that live in the town don't change, but the people that are staying in the guest house change. The stories are crazy. It's just like a kooky series. I think it got canceled after 2 seasons. So it was on TBS, and there's only 2. We're through the first one, and it was amazing. It's just good. So if you guys are looking for like a fun, cheery, well, I wouldn't say it's totally cheery. It's a TVMA series for sure. But yeah, it's a good comedy. It's called The Guest Book. It's on Hulu.
I hadn't even heard of it.
Yeah, we were kind of surprised, and I was disappointed when I saw the last episode aired in like 2008, but yeah, they canceled it in 2019. Yep.
I've got a kudos. So on a whim, I'm always looking for something to watch that I can watch when the kids are around. Like I'm cooking dinner, right? And the TV's there, the kitchen's over here, and I usually like to turn something on, right? But a lot of the stuff I watch, I can't watch with kids. So I'm on Hulu, and I saw this show called The Kings of Pain. And if you haven't heard of this show, it is these 2 wildlife biologists have made it their journey to document some of the most painful stings and bites in the animal kingdom. And the only way to do that is to get bit themselves. Get bit or stung themselves. And so that's what they do. Every episode, they've got 2 or 3 different animals that they let sting them or bite them, and then they document the pain. And they've kind of got this scale that they've developed where they're scoring different aspects of the bite. But it's like the Nature Channel meets Jackass, right? You're watching these.
That reminds me of Jackass. Very
It
much.
sounds a lot, mostly Jackass,
and
it's like Jackass in nature.
It's got that like funny, you're like, oh my gosh, are you serious? But also that aspect of like, no, don't do it. But like, so some of the animals so it's only 1 season, 9 episodes. We watched all 9 episodes in 2 days, and they're hour-long episodes. We blew through it. It is awesome. So let's see, the executioner wasp, the Goliath bird-eating tarantula.
Those are so
bark
scary.
Scorpion.
Those are the huge ones.
Yes.
Oh,
Is it hard for you to watch a documentary series where something actually happens?
It's
like when it's not like a
fascinating. It's new
giant
experience for
tease
me.
the whole episode, and then they're like, "We'll see if we get bit next week. Tune in."
There is no tease there, and the crazy thing is, okay, so one of the most entertaining aspects of this show is like one guy will hold the bug for the other guy, and it'll let him bite on his arm. And then he knows full well he's next.
So they both do.
They both do.
Does
every
one always
single
go
one.
first, or they take turns going first?
No. They take turns. But one of the guys, dude, he gets mad when he gets hurt, and you can just see him. He will be, when he's watching how much pain his buddy's in. He's sitting there, his eyes are wide open. He's like, oh my gosh. And I kid you not, going second would be the worst in every situation. They had a monitor lizard attack them, but guys,
is it too spoilery to say what the most painful one was?
I
can just go watch that episode,
dude. If you want to watch one episode, watch the final episode.
Okay,
it's called Execution Day. This one creeped me the f out, and it was first a giant Asian centipede. Okay, one of those huge centipedes. They go catch them too. They'll go out in the wild and catch them, and then bring them back and let them bite them. And that was their most painful one. Until the second animal, that same location in Indonesia, was a huge python, a giant like 16-foot python that they caught. And those are constrictors, right? So you wouldn't think the bite's going to be that bad. It bit them on the like arm, like on the elbow. They have their elbow bent, and it kind of bit them right above their elbow. Both dudes needed so many stitches. They were bleeding everywhere.
Oh
There
my
was like
gosh,
blood
dude.
all over the ground. By far the worst. That was by far the worst. A lot of them are really fascinating, but that one was like the first guy needed stitches, and the second guy's like, I gotta go. His first guy's like, don't do it. Don't do it. I'll let you have a pass. And he's like, I gotta do it. He got it. Second guy got it so much worse.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways, it's called Kings of Pain on Hulu. It's safe for the kids to watch. All the curse words are bleeped out. My kids had a fun little metric of their own, and it was the curse word scale. How many curse words would come out was also it directly correlate with the pain of the bite. So watch it. It's so good and it's so easy to watch.
I'm
Kings of Pain on Hulu.
How boring I would be on this show, because Jenna's pointed this out. When I am in a certain amount of pain, she's like, I always know when you've hurt yourself for real because you go dead silent, and it freaks her out, because I'm like, when I am in too much pain, I just have to like take a second and like deal. And so I would just get bit by these things and just go like, no cursing, no yelling.
Have you ever
no
been stung
around.
by a? Have you been?
Do you know about bee?
Have you been stung by a bee? So bees,
Beekeeper.
they rated it as a 3 on their 30-point scale.
No, I understand how much more painful these things are.
And everything was like 20, 18, right?
Yeah.
You gotta watch it. Just watch it. It's so good.
One more thing that I was watching. This is a quick one because it's only like 3 hours. It's a docu-series. It's on Netflix. It's a new one. You guys have probably seen it. They've been advertising it. Murder Among Mormons. This was, for me, it's awesome. I am coining a term here, Utahna. It's this Americana for Utahns. It is just
this is
rife with Utahna. Like it's old, Salt Lake City police cars. It's Rod Decker from KSL 5 News. It is all the Utah shit I grew up with. In a documentary about a forger who murdered people with bombs. I don't know, guys.
Like
it
scary
is
pipe bombs too, like
crazy.
Right where we grew up.
Yeah, this is right where Trent and I grew up. We had friends and families and relatives living on this like street or one street over from where these pipe bombs went off. The documentary is kind of a crazy ride. It might be a story that's familiar to some Utahns. Wasn't to me, born and raised here, but Trent was very familiar with it. So your mom,
which I think is just like I said, proximity, because like Annie had family members involved with it, like Annie's family, the guy right after the first 3 bombings happened, Annie's grandpa got a phone call that they had to like lock down their whole family, and they had cops checking their cars every morning and everything.
I hate that,
because it happened like a block away or 2 blocks away from my mom's like childhood home. So it's so wacky.
Crazy.
Dude, the story is nuts. The whole thing is just so crazy. I just like every time an episode would end, I just turn to Jenna and I would be like, "You want to keep?" She's like, "Yes, duh, keep going. We have to figure out what this is." This isn't like, oh, and the one thing, this is directed by Jared Hess, who you guys might recognize as the dude who directed Napoleon Dynamite and like Nacho Libre and some other dorky ass movies. He is the ultimate dork ass Mormon director, and he is just I love everything he does. So
he's so good.
Gentlemen Broncos, yeah. So this is weird to see from him. It did not feel like Napoleon Dynamite. I will be totally honest.
Little disappointing,
comedic,
not gonna lie.
But it is still rife with Utah Mormon dorkiness. Like,
so it hits it on that point.
The Uzi scene. These two, I'm sorry, spoilers. These 2 dorkasses buy an Uzi. Just like they're just dorky Mormon kids, and they buy an Uzi in like a Toyota MR2.
Exactly
in the
what
desert.
you think.
It's amazing. They go out there with their
1980s
jeans.
Utah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, so check that out. That's on Netflix. Murder Among Mormons. It's awesome. Okay, let's do, guys, it's been so long. Why don't we do a little good, bad, and ugly?
The good. The bad. The ugly.
All right. Good. The good, the bad, and the ugly is our segment that we rarely do these days. so we wanted to try to spice it up. This is where we talk about good, bad, and ugly aspects of certain elements of video games. And because this is on the forefront of my mind and Peterson's mind right now, we wanted to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly of getting addicted to a video game. We're pretty addicted.
What do you mean?
to
I've never been addicted.
Peterson,
to
are
any
you
game.
playing Valheim right now? Is that what were you looking up build
on.
guides on your phone?
Dude, I was getting attacked by a troll. Hold on 1 second. I can't stop. I have no stamina.
I will go first with a good, and I think just grab order whatever you want to talk about.
Okay.
But for me, the biggest thing, especially lately, when I'm super addicted to a game, is that it generally means the game has a lot of content and a lot of value. I felt like the last time I was this addicted, where I got up to like 70 hours so quickly. Do you remember last time, Peterson? It was FTL. That was the last time a game had hooked me this hard, I think. And that was the thing. That game I got for like $2. And I put that much time into it. So usually when I'm super addicted, regardless, because I will pay $60 for a game I play for 20 hours, and I'm like, that seems about right. So when I pay $5 or $20 and I'm paying a game for vastly longer, that's
70 hours. JD is at 70 hours.
You're saying this like
I checked it today.
This is so accusatory. You're leaving out
Dare
one
you
key
play this
detail,
game for 70 hours,
Peterson.
JD?
Well, what the fuck? How many hours have you played it for? How are you not telling us that detail?
Me?
Yeah,
49.
Me?
49
Wait, really?
hours. Yes. You've got a full 20 hours on me.
What?
In a month.
See? JD doesn't even know. This is how addicted
This is called
he is.
addiction,
I can stop
Jonathan.
anytime I want.
He doesn't
just
even
don't want
realize
to.
when he's playing.
What?
JD, it says 72
You thought
hours.
this was a podcast? This is actually an intervention.
20
Yeah.
hours more than you? I swear I only play when you're on. What?
Yeah, dude. See?
And like the 2 hours you're waiting for him to get on, and the 2 hours after.
Shit.
Guys, this is my ugly of addiction. Right here.
This is so
I did this
crazy.
much?
Dude, this was only my bad.
Holy shit.
Dude, I'm going to jump into my bad on this unhealthy amount of time with a game, because you're scoffing over this 70 hours. I think I talked about this recently, but like every time a WoW expansion comes out, I would venture to guess in the first week, I put in like 3 to 4 20+ hour play sessions. Easily. Like I will wake up at 8 a.m., sit down at my computer, and play till like 4 the next morning. And then I just have to take a nap, and then I'm back at it. It's so bad.
That is crazy to me, Trent.
Well, dude, like when you're playing like a WoW expansion, you have to stick with that curve. You have to stay with like the trend, hit max level quickly.
You don't
Otherwise,
have to, Trent.
Well, no. Here's why you have to, because the max
Exhibit 2 of the ugly. Keep going.
the max level of WoW content is very like based on your gear level. So if you get behind the curve that everyone else is on, you don't have anyone to play with.
Why do I feel like Trent has rehearsed this speech and given it to many people throughout his life? At first his parents, now his wife, soon his daughter. You see, Quinn, Dad has to play this because if you get behind on the curve, I'll never catch back up.
It's true, dude. I'm behind the curve now, so I can't play till the next patch hits. I have to take a break.
Oh my god!
Trent's
This
got
is
his
an
elevator
intervention
speech
for
down for his...
everyone.
Yeah. So I guess I'll do my ugly. My ugly is, and JD mentioned this, and this is what made me think of it. When I get addicted to a game, I start seeing that game in the real world. In our Valheim server, I just planted a couple pine trees, right? Just thinking I'll put them up. Well, they sprouted up. They're huge. These two giant pine trees in our base, right? So then JD sends me a picture today. I'm assuming of somewhere
I was at
where
the
he
dog
was
park.
walking.
Yeah.
Yep, dude.
And there's planted pine trees in the nice row.
And he's like 4 of them, and he's like, "Hey, Peterson, you been here?" This happens to me Oh gosh, when I first started playing, Arma 3, right? And it's in that like Russian, it's just kind of like middle of nowhere type of places, not big cities. I would drive around in Seattle and I'd be like, I see a water tower and I'm like, dude, I want to climb up on that. And then I would see Arma and then subsequently PUBG everywhere I was. I'm thinking, okay, okay, I would run through this field and then I'd crouch in those bushes. And I'm like, this is a problem.
Did you ever actually do it though? Did you ever just get out of your car and you're like, I just want to see how it feels?
Just a fugue state.
Just like twice.
Dude, Peterson, you
grabbed
just
a stick and held it like a gun.
You just activated a memory for me. When we were playing DayZ, do you remember one of the dumb foods that you could eat in that game? One of the early ones that you could just find and pick up? Do you remember the cucumbers? And then there were rotting cucumbers? And you could eat them.
Remember that?
Okay, dude. So I am on a run. This is like 6+ years ago when we were playing DayZ. I'm out on a run. It's in the middle of the summer, and someone, I assume, had picked a cucumber out of their garden and just put it on their wall, like a cinder block wall, in the exact same manner that a cucumber would appear in DayZ. I'm running past it on my run, and like for a split second, when you like stop really quick and your feet like squeak on the pavement, it's like, and I was like, wait, I gotta grab that cucumber. Oh, my character is hungry, and I was like, what are you fucking doing? I just like steal one of my neighbor's cucumbers.
Old cucumber. Gotta grab this old wall cucumber.
I need this to fight zombies.
This happens to me. Only in games I'm really
Your
hooked
neighbor's
on.
just watching through the window.
Dude,
I knew we'd get another one of those dorks.
He took the cucumber.
Every time we leave these cucumbers out.
Dude, he loves old cucumbers. I don't know what it is.
Anyone that's ever grown cucumbers would attest that if they could just put all their excess cucumbers and some idiot would pick them up, they would be over the moon. Or their zucchinis. No, I don't want a zucchini the size of a small guitar. Thank you.
Let alone 6 of them. Stop leaving them on my doorstep.
It's like it graduates from a grocery bag to like a garbage bag of fucking zucchinis. Like, nobody eats these. I'll take them to the zoo, and the animals are like, no more zucchini.
No more, please.
Please, I swear to God. I have a good one for bad. I think we're all doing bads. And you guys can probably agree.
There's nothing good about being addicted.
Is forgetting to do things, because you kind of get sucked into the game and you lose track of time. So Jenna and I have a hot tub that we just adore. It's like the best part of our whole life. You have to, if you guys don't know, you have to drain the water every couple months and do and wipe it down. And ours is made out of wood, so you really got to get in there and kind of clean it. And then you fill it back up. Well, in the winter, you don't have a hose because you can't turn on your hose bib. So our genius solution, which just happened by fate, we did not plan it this way. If you open
so hilarious.
If you open our bathroom window, like the sliding shower window, and you take the hose from the shower and you hang it by the turkey string that we strung over the pergola, the little shower head will spray into the hot tub. But I will tell you guys.
And how many gallons is this hot tub?
This is like 6,000 gallons. It is so big. It is
4 days later.
Yeah, honest to God, it takes 4 hours. So, yeah, I can get up a couple times and check on it. Dude. But if I sit down and play Valheim, and so that's exactly what I was doing. I was playing Valheim. Peterson and I were talking about something, and I was just like, huh. And it just hit me, and I was like, the hot tub. And I'm like, oh no. And then, so I run into the bathroom, jump into the bathtub, and I'm peering over the window. Let's just say next time I get in that bath,
it's overflowing.
It's gonna be a little sloshy next time we get in that hot tub.
Oh my gosh!
So don't forget things. That is the worst part. I just want to transition into a good that I had, because this is what I was thinking of. Is it's flow, And I feel like that's the best, that's the good that counteracts that bad when you're actually forgetting things and not doing things, is that when you get a game that's so good that you're so addicted to it that you start kind of experiencing flow, which is where you aren't really paying attention to what you're doing. Like when, like, you guys remember Linsanity?
Where you just rap, right?
Yeah, where you're just on fire and you're not trying and you're not thinking, and everyone's like, "Wow, you did so good," and you're like, "Oh, I wasn't. I was just going, man. I was just killing it." That is the, for me, that's the best part.
No one has said that to you in Valheim once.
Oh yeah, they're like,
"Oh,
"Dude, JD, I
so
noticed
good.
you cleared that node of copper really well. You didn't leave
Man,
any copper
you're killing
behind,
it, bro."
Oh, you totally crushed it. Looks like you strip mined the whole mountain."
Dude, your sailing is so good.
Okay, that's horse
He
shit.
really
You don't
thinks his
compliment
sailing
my
is really
sailing
good.
enough.
I
Maybe
think your
that's the
sailing's
bigger
great.
issue. Maybe this
I'm
is
sure
your
if I
intervention,
played it-
Peterson. You don't compliment my sailing enough in Valheim. I'm way good. I saved you from that wraith.
I just hold on to the rigging and enjoy the ride.
You just sit there and try to hold on. You fall out of the boat more often than not. Swear to God. Do you guys have any?
Okay. Yeah, dude. My bad is that I'm always tired, because when we're addicted to a game, I can't stop playing.
Dude.
And here's the thing: how many nights this in the last week, JD, at like
Peterson,
12:30,
I'm
was
sleeping
like, dude, we gotta go
less
to bed.
than 25 hours a week now. Easy.
I'm like, dude, we gotta go to bed. And then 1:30 rolls around. I'm like, crap, it's 1:30. I gotta go to bed. Okay, I'm just gonna do this one last thing. Next thing I know, it's 2:00 when I start to brush my teeth to go to bed. Like it's I am getting no sleep.
I told Jenna that's our ritual. Our nightly ritual is at 1 p.m. Peterson tells me 1 a.m. He tells me he's tired and he's going to bed, and that's how I know it's 1 a.m. and we have another hour.
We
and
have
a half.
1 hour left.
And he says, "All right, I'm going to wrap this up, and whatever this is what we'll be doing for the next hour and a half before we go to bed." It's the ritual. It's how it goes.
Dude, that's the bad of it. I'm always tired. I'm so tired.
Here's an ugly one, because we don't have a lot of uglies where it's a mix of good and bad. But I think it's ugly when you're doing things that are rewarding in the game and they're rewarding at the time, but are ultimately extremely meaningless. And you look back like, why the... I think Peterson and I were playing this game called Grounded, which is essentially a Honey, I Shrunk the Kids simulator. And there's a feature in Grounded where you could cut down grass, which in the game, a blade of grass is as wide as you are and 50 times as tall. So you cut these down.
As tall as like 15 of you.
Yeah, and you can harvest a bunch of blades of grass and then turn them into a path. So Peterson and I decided brilliantly that the best way to navigate this world was to build a bunch of elevated paths that were above all the bugs and mess and fighting and and we did a really good job. And we built these paths for a long time.
We spent hours and hours doing this.
Tens of hours. And looking back, especially knowing that we're never going back to Grounded now that we have Valheim, because Valheim does everything Grounded did, but better. I am like, wow. It was so much fun. We had a ton of time building our paths. It was like this mindless flow activity for us. And we were like visualizing how easy it would make the game for us was great. But now we're never going to play the game. So it's like, oh, shit. That highway's just there somewhere.
Man.
Huh. Bummer.
It exists.
Maybe they'll remaster it in 20 years and you guys can go back and finish
They'll
it.
be like, your old save games will still work. And we'll boot it up and we've got just paths going through the sky.
That wouldn't work, grandfathered in.
Trent, do you have any more?
I've got another ugly. I didn't look at ugly as in between. I thought ugly was the worst one. So I said ugly is being addicted to a game with microtransactions.
Oh no.
I only ever had this happen once because typically I just can't do mobile games. And this is probably like subconsciously part of the reason why. When Hearthstone came out for the very first time.
Oh no.
And I had a mobile game on my iPad that I was just way into. It
Never
was
put it down.
so unhealthy for my wallet. Like I because the card packs are only $2.99, which seems like such a small little purchase, at least for that.
Yeah.
But $2.99 like 100 times is a lot of $2.99s. So
So many of them.
I remember specifically catching myself one night. I woke up at like 3 a.m. and I pulled out my iPad and I was like making the push to get to the legendary rank, which is like,
Oh my gosh.
yeah. And so I was like
Kidding me, close.
rank 4 or 3 or something. And I was like, there's just a few cards from my deck that I'm missing that would just make this perfect. $100 later, I realized maybe I should have just stayed asleep.
It is so much money at
3 a.m.
And after that,
card packs.
that was right before we got married. I was like, I should probably display a little bit better financial stability, so I can't play Hearthstone anymore.
Yeah,
So
how
that-
do you explain that bill to anyone? Because the timestamp on there is going to show 3 a.m.
Trent,
$100
I
Blizzard
think our
Entertainment.
account information got stolen. Someone spent at 3 a.m. $100 in Hearthstone.
30 separate
Blizzard-
transactions?
37
Odd.
transactions.
That just doesn't
That
sound
is
like
a
you,
problem.
Trent. It must be fraud.
You don't
That
even
doesn't
play
sound like
mobile
something you
games.
would ever do.
Yeah, right.
Oh.
Okay. Well, if we don't have any others, let's move on to the rundown.
Hey, dude, you know what a rundown is?
Use it in a sentence.
Can you get this rundown for me?
Try another sentence.
This rundown better be really good.
I don't know, but it sounds like the rundown's really important.
All right. Rundowns are what we call gaming reviews because that's funny to us. We almost got through all of our rundowns last week, but I had one left over, one that I wanted to talk about called South Park: The Stick of Truth. This game came out in 2014. It was made by Ubisoft. It was a big deal back then. I remember I was at the E3 when they were demoing it, and yeah, it was a big deal. Everyone was super stoked to see it. I think having a South Park game was pretty novel at the time. Having any game that was, I think they had South Park games, but this one really seemed to be a gamer's game for the first time. Very self-aware, very self-referential. I'll just go through the skinny. It feels like an episode or a movie or a couple episode arc of South Park. Same voice acting, same writing, same everything. It looked the exact same. It played the same way.
Same animation. Yeah, it looks like an episode.
Exactly like an episode. Like it's not like, where you play a Simpsons game and you're obviously in a 3D world that doesn't feel like Simpsons. This in every way, shape, and form because of the nature of the art. So it's obviously a 2D game. You go left to right. The whole town of South Park is laid out in front of you like a map. It's turn-based combat with a kind of a timed twist. So you can, when someone's attacking you, you can counter it. You have to do it at the right time and it'll counter and it'll do less damage or even disable them. And then you can hit them back. Or it will, when you're attacking them, you'll have these quick time events where you have to press a button at a certain time and you'll do extra damage to the enemy. And it's turn-based. So it's kind of got that turn-based RPG feel. You've got items, you have a party. You only have 2 people in your party at a time. You have just like one companion. You can have like Butters or Stan or Cartman. There's a ton to do in this game. It's very much like a 2014 game where it was built to be a solid game, but also a game that people like me would 100%. And back then, I would have definitely 100% of this game. There's a ton of stuff just to incentivize you to wander around the city of South Park or the town of South Park and just go through everything and look for everything and talk to all the people and go through all the drawers. It's kind of cool to see the town all laid out and be able to go everywhere. Every single character in the show's house or whatever, and talk to them or mess with them. The ending was pretty solid. The story was pretty solid. The length was perfect. I felt like I didn't feel like it went too long, but I did feel like it was like meaty. It didn't feel like short. For what it was, they definitely could have skimped on the content. But it was lengthy. It was robust. I wouldn't say it's the deepest. It's not a game you're going into for like deep RPG mechanics.
Yeah.
But
No,
it's a
it's
South
South
Park
Park.
game.
Yeah.
It's a South Park game. You're going in for the fart jokes and the disgusting poop and vomit stuff because that's amusing to you because you're still 12. It's I don't know. If you guys like I haven't watched
Agreed.
South Park in like 4 or 5 years. It just kind of trailed off for me. The election shit was just like kind of jumped the shark for me. But it smacks of all the old South Park and stuff that I loved, which was that was like the era was 2014 and before then all those that kind of the golden era shit. When they were doing like the World of Warcraft episode, those types of things. So this was right in that timeline, and yeah, it's good. So South Park Stick of Truth. If you guys don't know, I got this on Ubisoft Plus, which I strongly recommend at least for 1 month because it's like $15 and you could just check out all these AAA indie or all these triple A Ubisoft games. So yeah, check it out. Don't pay for it. Just get it on Uplay. It's just whatever. Is that it? Oh my gosh, you guys. This is gonna be the shortest episode of all time.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go. Let's wrap it up with some dice.
Well,
Dice of Destiny.
All right. Dice of Destiny is this awesome game we play at the end of every episode. We roll a 6-sided dice to see who will be selected to roll the Dice of Destiny, which is a 20-sided dice with 20 different game genres assigned to it. The roller then rolls another 6-sided dice to see how much money they can spend on the game, and then they find a game in that genre for that price, pick it, play it, and review it. Last week, Aaron rolled a $20 mobile game, which meant he could just pick about any mobile game and spend $20 on it because there's no way that any of them cost $20. So he called in and
he
left
probably
us
went free to play. Let's be honest.
Yeah, but that means he can buy $20 worth of card packs, right, Trent?
That's right.
Okay, let's listen to Aaron's voicemail.
Is Trent buying card packs right now?
I'm considering it.
Super distracted
and
and looking down at
I
his
forgot about
lap.
it for a little while. I got the Hearthstone bug. Sorry, Aaron, continue.
Yo, dudes. So last week I rolled a mobile game that had to be under $20. Super difficult. Had a rough time. And the game that I chose. Oh man, I forgot about it. Okay, here we go. Got it. So the game that I chose is Frostborn. I think it just came out of early access, or it's in early access. I don't really know. It looks kind of interesting, so we'll give it a try. So stay tuned for next week. Give you my review. See ya.
All right, so Aaron has picked Frostbutt?
Frostborn.
Frostborn.
I looked it up. It looks like Valheim, the mobile game.
Frostborn?
Yeah. Frostborn, a co-op game or something like that is what it's called.
Co-op survival. Oh my
Co-op
god,
survival.
it is just mobile Valheim. Is this how I get my Valheim fix when I have to go to
No.
the bathroom?
Dude, it's got
And I have to
pretty
stop
good
playing it
ratings,
for
too.
15 minutes?
Wait, 15 minutes? It's too long, JD.
It's much too short, JD.
You guys just learned a lot about us in this last, 8 seconds.
I just knew how to set that Goldilocks joke up because I know you guys, unfortunately, that well. Oh my god, that is alarming for all of us. We should actually end this now before we get to know each other better. Because, yikes. All right, guys. To play us out, we have the music from Halo?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, Halo.
No, let's do the music from Apex
New
Legends.
ZeniMax game.
Peterson, switch that.
Oh,
Switch
they're
the track over to
Apex
Apex Legends. No, turn off Halo. Switch to Apex. Okay, yeah. Now we have the music from Apex Legends. Meow, meow, bam, 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 bam. I'm JD.
That's not it. No, I'm not doing that. This is Peterson going AFK.
This is Trent signing out, I guess.
Meow, meow.
Emerson Productions. Oh yeah.
Meow meow. 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 Bam bam bam. I'm JD. I'm JD. I'm JD. I'm JD. I'm JD. Log it off.